I think lockdown must be finally getting to me because I'm about to do something that I am pretty sure is a terrible idea. I think my main problem is that just nothing ever changes. Germany's been in lockdown now for 5-6 months, and to be honest, there's no real end in sight for that. We just had our flights cancelled for going back to Scotland. I've not seen my parents in 2 or 3 years. I booked those back in, I think, November or December last year. Not ever imagining that this would have gone on that long, which in retrospect, it seems kind of naive, but yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I thought things would have calmed down by then. I've been as responsible as I possibly could be with the social distancing. So that's not traveling. It's keeping my friends circle and my activities as small as possible. But it just means a lack of movement. I mean, a lack of movement in a physical sense, which is also very, very frustrating. And to be honest, nothing illustrates this lack of movement in my life or in my physicality more than my jeans. These are my TCB Slim 50s. Guys who have been subscribed to the channel for a while or have been tuning in for a while, you're going to remember that these jeans were part of a fading experiment between Rio, which is the right-hand man of Hayumi, that's the founder of TCB, and then there's Volvo Sufu that's on Instagram. And anyway, so Volvo is a big proponent of washing his jeans all the time. I am a big proponent of waiting at least 6 months before starting to wash my jeans, and Rio's somewhere in the middle. And we wanted to see how the jeans would evolve with the different methods of washing. Yeah, so I've been in these jeans for now coming up to a year. I've not been constantly wearing them, but they've been my go-to pair. They've been the pair that I've worn the most. And they're showing next to no signs of fading or wear. By this time, any normal circumstances, any normal fades, they would be looking absolutely amazing. This isn't a reflection on how difficult TCBs are to fade or if they're like a harder fading denim. It's just literally that I've done nothing for the past year apart from sit on my ass in this room and talking to you guys, which is awesome, but it's absolutely detrimental for slick fades. As a reaction to the lack of movement, the lack of activity, I've gone way past the 6-month mark on washing these jeans. And I was just kind of waiting for a time when I'd actually have some big activity, maybe a big travel that I could go away on, get some real wear in these and then come back and wash them, and then I could tell you guys about it. But it's not happened. And so, yeah, despite the lack of movement, I've still been wearing these jeans a lot, which means that, yeah, I've been moving in them a little bit, I've been sweating in them. They've got dirty. And it's got to the point now where they've got that kind of soiled feeling about them. They feel kind of damp all the time when they're dry. And that is definitely a mark of like, okay, it's definitely time to wash your jeans. You guys know me well enough by now to know that I don't fuck around when I'm washing my jeans. I don't do anything like, I don't wash them in the bathtub. I don't go to Mount Fiji and make a big pilgrimage and wash them in one of the snowmelt streams. They get turned inside out and they go into the washing machine. It's that simple. And that's exactly what I'm going to do this time around. But I'm also going to wash them really hot. And I'm also going to wash them with a bit of bleach. But before you pause this, unsubscribe and never talk to me again, let me explain. First up, the really hot part. What I mean by really hot is washing them at 60 degrees. I would normally wash my jeans around about, I don't know, 40, maybe 30 on a gentle wash. I'm washing these at 60 for a couple of reasons. One reason is that apparently bleach needs heat to be activated. We're going to get to the bleach thing in a second. The other part is that when I got these jeans, they were a little bit big on me. I needed to get like a slightly bigger size, so the rise in these jeans is quite small. So I need to get a slightly bigger size so the rise was fitting me, and so my ass wasn't hanging out all the time. They were fitting fine, but I was slightly bigger at the time as well. Combine that with the fact that they've stretched out, like all jeans will, they are a little bit too loose in the waist for me. And they're quite long as well. So I think they've been pre-washed, so that's unsanforized denim that's been washed by the factory. And so a lot of the shrink's going to be out on them anyway. And they're long enough and they're loose enough in the waist for me to be able to lose quite a bit of length. So I'm not at all worried about washing them at 60. I guess that alone is going to be pretty controversial for the pure blue denim heads. But the bleaching thing it's out there. This whole daft idea got started when Bezad from Naked and Famous Denim, he left a comment on one of the YouTube videos saying like, hey, like, great information, love the video, but have you ever thought about adding a little bit of bleach when you're washing your jeans? Like, here's an example of a pair of mine that I do that with, and the example that he sent over they look fantastic. Like, they've got that real, like, vintage faded look, like, not the high contrast that everybody seems to be after these days, but like a really nicely, like vintage fade to the denim. So it's a low contrast, but like a lot of character, like really, really beautiful. And it kind of makes sense that he would suggest something like this because Naked and Famous are the mad scientists of the denim world. So yeah, it makes sense that he's going to go against the grain of denim folklore, which I actually really like and really appreciate. There's also that thing that seed was planted. And as I've seen hardly any fades come into these jeans, it's grown and it's getting stronger, and it's just got to the point now where I'm just like, right, okay, I just really need to do something. I need to have some sort of change. And adding the bleach is really going to do that. There's another reason why I'm quite happy to experiment with these jeans in this way. I mean, really, don't get me wrong, like there's a little bit of fading happening. Nowhere near as much as I would have expected from this much wear, but there's a little bit of fading happening. And there's definitely the necessity to wash them. They're kind of filthy. And so I would never achieve those high contrast fades with these jeans. It's just a reality. It's how I've worn them in the last year, which is, I come to think of it, that's the whole point of raw denim. Like the pair of jeans that you've got that you're fading in, it illustrates your life at that time. And these just illustrate that yeah, we've been in lockdown, we've not been able to move anywhere. And so yeah, the fades have been like very, very minimal. I've abandoned that idea of ever having like high contrast fades, and I'm just going to lean into these really vintage fades, which makes perfect sense. I mean, these are based off Levi's from the 50s, it's in the name. And all the really beautiful examples of Levi's from the 50s that are still around have these really low contrast but very subtle fades on them that just look far more interesting to me these days than these, like, everybody seems to be after these like really high contrast, really extreme fades. I've seen that a lot. What I don't see is nice, easy, like vintage style fades. And by adding the bleach to the wash, by taking some of the color out of these, that's just me like accelerating this process a little bit. Having just heard myself say that, this sounds like cheating a little bit. It sounds like cheating the fade process. And I don't know, is it that? I don't really care. There's another very good reason to do this. I'm curious. I'm simply curious about what it's going to do. And one of the things about YouTubers, one of the things that seems to be kind of like prominent in all of YouTube is that we do these things so you guys don't have to. We fuck these things up so you guys don't have to. Like, people chop really expensive boots in half to see what's inside so you guys don't have to. I'm going to be washing a pretty expensive pair of jeans with bleach to see what happens so you guys don't have to. Maybe it goes absolutely fantastically and it's something that you want to do. Maybe it's a fucking disaster and you guys go like, haha, he was an idiot, wouldn't do that. That's also a bit of a motivation to do this as well. You know what? I'm nervous about this. I'm waffling, so I'm stalling, so I should just get started. First thing I want to do, so I'm going to be washing these at 60. They're going to shrink down a little bit. I'm curious to know how much they're going to shrink down, so I want to take some accurate measurements. Second thing I want to do is I want to take some decent shots of the fades that are there and of the denim, so I can see exactly how the bleach affected the color of the denim. Okay, measurements are as follows. Waist is 18 inches, front rise is 10.25 inches, rise at the back is 15 inches, thigh is 12 inches, leg is 33.5 inches, and the hem is 8 inches. Now let's look at the fades that we do have. On the front of the jeans, not a lot. We have a little bit going on down the fly. Yeah, just on the edge here. Got a tiny little bit on the pocket opening as well. If we look in the pockets here, you can actually see how nasty looking the pocket bags are. Yeah, they've picked up a little bit of indigo, but they've just mostly like picked up dirt and grime and nastiness. Over here on the coin pocket, which is a really, really good size of coin pocket, I really have to say, it's big enough to be practical. My litmus test for coin pockets is if I can fit my Zippo in. I can fit my Zippo in here and I can access it really, really easily. Down here on the thighs is the one place that you see some really nice potential fading coming out, where there's a little bit of, I don't even know if you call that slubbiness. I think it's not actually enough to call it slubby denim, but a little bit of irregularity here with the thread size, with the yarn size, sorry. And you can see that that's popping out a little bit just here and there on the denim. That's actually really quite beautiful. We've got very, very minimal whiskering here. And this is something to do with the fit of the denim. They're quite a loose fit on me, so you don't really get too much sort of creasing here. And yeah, also, I've not been moving very much in them, so that's another reason we're not seeing much whiskering at all. Interestingly enough is the button that has come out the nicest out of all this time. It's obviously some sort of iron steel button that's rusted up a little bit. It's patining really, really nicely. The rivets as well, they are looking pretty beautiful. The belt loops at the front, they're not really seeing very much fading at all. Over on the side a little bit more, and then at the back we're seeing the most because I always wear a rucksack, so that gets a lot of wear right here, and so yeah, we're seeing some nice fading popping out there. Down towards the thighs, yeah, like the whiskers, we're not really seeing very much at all. We're not seeing too much at the crotch either, and we're not seeing any signs. Let me just check that for sure. Yep, we're not seeing any signs of crotch blowout whatsoever. Knees, nothing much at all. Nothing at all actually. Down to the lower legs, nope, nothing. And then down towards the hem, really, yeah, nothing at all. I always wear these cuffed. I'm usually wearing them with a pinroll, and yeah, that means that like none of my jeans really have got much roping going on. Over to the back of the jeans, this is where we're seeing a little bit more fading. As I mentioned, the belt loop's looking pretty great. We're getting a tiny little bit of fading coming on the back pockets where the rivets are. Okay, over here, that's quite nice. The thread has split a little bit and it's not unraveling, but it's wearing down a little bit. And then a tiny little bit of fading around the bottom of the pockets. A little bit more here on the left because I always keep my keys in my left-hand pocket, and so they're pretty rough, pretty sharp. So yeah, we're seeing a little bit of fading down there, again at the crotch to the back. Now, this is something that I'm still quite surprised at. There's no fading in the crotch or the ass. Usually I have like the perfect shape here of my saddle, but I've not been out on the bike that much for the past year. So yeah, we're not seeing anything around about the crotch or the ass here. Up here towards the leather patch, okay, somebody corrected me on this in one of the other videos I did, but I can't remember what he corrected me. I called it roping up here at where the yoke has been stitched on. Apparently it's not roping, it's something else. But anyway, we're seeing a little bit of something that's not roping, that's something else, but it looks like roping and it's fading down a little bit. Here by the patch, so as I said, these jeans are a little bit too big for me. So at the front, they kind of gather up a little bit, but because the patch is like making this a little bit thicker around about that area, what ends up happening is that the patch kind of like folds back on the denim here. And so I've always had fades just to the left-hand side of the patch, and that's just happening here as well. The patch here, it's not really changed all that much. I think the logo's rubbed off a little bit, and then the stamp with the waist size, that's also worn off. You can't make that out at all, but you can see there was something there. I mean, it's not seen any water since it was given the pre-wash at the factory, so I wasn't expecting this to change very much. On the outside seam, no real train tracks to speak of coming out. Then there's a tiny little bit of fading up at the sort of, the hip here. Down towards the back of the knee where we're seeing the most significant fading. When we go to the inside of the jeans, then you're really gonna see that I need to wash these. A good indication of when you need to wash your jeans is definitely the feel. If they feel kind of slimy, kind of like they're damp all the time, then it's really time the jeans had a wash. And you can also tell when the pocket bags, when they yellow down a little bit, then it's just like, yeah, if they're looking yellow, then it's time for the jeans to go in the washing machine. And these really are looking kind of yellow. Yeah. So I explained to my girlfriend the whole no washing thing, and she was quite accepting about it. But then when I told her the other day, I was like, yeah, these haven't been washed for a while. She was like, yeah, that's actually really disgusting. And you know what? She's absolutely right. Okay, so slight change of plan. In between the time of me spontaneously deciding to do this morning and me filming the previous part, then me doing the measurements, filming the measurement, doing the B-roll for the fades that are there just now, in between then and that time, I thought it might be a good idea to reach out to some people that know what they're doing with this stuff and getting some advice on how much bleach I should use and blah, 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 blah. So I reached out to Behzad. I mean, that just makes sense. This is all his fault after all. I'm only joking, man. But anyway, it's going to be your fault if it goes wrong. Anyway, I reached out to him. His advice was, he did it in the machine, and he said, whatever amount that's recommended in the bottle, do half, do a little bit of a time, and then you can see how it's going to affect the denim. That's really good advice. Then I also reached out to Kat. Kat's a friend of mine. She's a denim designer. She's got a brand called Newer Denim. Amazing. I put like her Instagram's here. Check her out. Check the brand out. I reached out to her. She's done lots of dyeing, lots of bleaching. She really knows her stuff with this. And she was like, yeah, you should actually probably do it in the bath. I was like, oh, okay. Really? But like, I'm going to turn the jeans inside out, so that's not going to crease them. But then she's like, yeah, but like the washing machine adds abrasion anyway. So there's the chance that if I do them in the washing machine with the bleach, then I'm going to get those sort of nasty vertical fade lines that happen when the washing machine's on its spin cycle. It forces the denim to the sort of outside, and however it's just sort of forced outside, those creases like lose indigo along that, and you just get these nasty creases. Those you can get rid of when you're just doing a normal wash cycle by turning the jeans inside out. With the addition of bleach, that might not help it enough. So she was like, yeah, just do it in the bath. So that's what I'm going to do. First, I'm going to wash the things to get them clean. Then I'm going to make a very, very, very diluted bleach solution in the bath. I'm going to throw them in, not inside out. I'm going to soak them for a little while, and then I'm going to see what happens. That sounds like a good idea. And that just means that this video is going to take a lot longer than I thought, so I'm probably not going to get it out by this afternoon. Shit, sorry guys. Inside out. I don't know if this makes any difference at all, but do up the buttons. Give them a shake. And off to the bathroom. You know what? I'm even nervous washing these things at 60. Yeah, okay, fuck it. Well, it's too late now. Whatever will be, and I should probably get round to doing some proper work today. As always, I hope everyone is happy and healthy out there. I hope you're taking care of yourselves, hope you're taking care of each other, and I'm going to see you in the next video.